Hey everyone, John here from All Miniatures Great and Small, and returning to the channel with an unboxing. So I thought today, before I unbox this, just to fill regular viewers in, I've been away from the channel for a couple months, had some health issues. I'm still recovering, but I'm doing a lot better, and I'm at a point where I felt like I could start doing videos again and it not feel like a chore or something unfun to do. So I've been looking forward to it. Today I'm going to be looking at a World War III Team Yankee release. This is now a couple months old. Originally I had purchased it when it first came out, but I had health problems and it sat in a box for a couple months. I'm just now pulling it out. I'm still very excited about this release, so I thought I would share it with you guys. So what I've got here is World War III Team Yankee. This is a French Lclerc tank company, basically a starter force for the French, which is out of the latest NATO book for Team Yankee that has a lot of the smaller nations for NATO and rounds it out. France is the biggest nation in the book, but it is a pretty cool release. It's got some cool stuff in it. Alright, so what does this have in it? It's got 3 Lclerc tanks. The Lclerc is the French main battle tank. It is a frontline, top-of-the-line tank, very similar to, maybe a Leopard 2 or a M1A1 Abrams. We're talking about that tier of tank, a T-80 for the Soviets. So it's a top-of-the-line tank. And we will be doing unit overviews for some of these things that are coming out. You also get 3 AMX-30 tanks. Then you've got 3 AMX AUF-1 self-propelled howitzers, 1 AMX-10P observer, 2 Gazelle helicopters, and they come with their, all the stuff that you get with that, flight stands and so forth. You also get a Team Yankee rulebook, decal sheets, and unit cards. So let's go ahead and crack this bad boy open and see what the French have for Team Yankee. Alright, let's dive in. I always comment these guys are expert packers. So this is by Ozzy, thank you. Once I pull this stuff out, I can never get it back in the same way. Okay, nothing else in the box. We got our start here, which we won't start with. We've got our rule book, cards, decals. We'll take a closer look at that. We've got various things. These are probably the flight stands. Look like there's some tank crew in there. This is just a filler to keep everything from smashing around. Then we have the models. We've got 2 Gazelles. We've got 3 of these. I think these are the AMX tanks. If I remember right, so this is the box for their artillery and the turret. You can build that kit in a couple of different ways. It's pretty versatile. This is, looks like maybe the OP. Then we've got the Lclerc sprues. We're going to take a closer look at all this stuff. Oh, another set of turrets for the AMXs. So this is like the AMX-30 or the artillery unit. So looks like we've got everything the box promised, which is always a good start. Now let's go to the start here and take a look at what we've got. Alright, we have the assembly guide, we have examples of the vehicles, how to put them together. There's that AMX-30 or the AMX AUF-1, which is the artillery, the Gazelle helicopter. Then we have kind of your new army here. If you play with just what's in the box, you have a 75-point force, which is pretty cool. I know the boys at LVO, I think, just went to a 76 or 79 point tournament. I can't remember what it was for Team Yankee. It's an interesting point level. But anyway, and then some suggestions on what to add next to your, to your forces. Okay, so let's start by taking a look at arguably the star of the show, and that's going to be the French Leclerc main battle tank. So let's see if we can zoom in a little bit here. We're going to go ahead and assemble one of these just to kind of check out what it looks like. Let you know if there's any problems or issues with assembly. But, overall, it looks like Battlefront's usual good stuff. Lots of detail. Some things might be oversized, but that just is better for playability. For example, the barrels on Battlefront vehicles are always oversized, which, one, I think looks pretty good at that scale. And two, like if it was an in-scale barrel size, it'd be a lot thinner and a lot more prone to get accidentally broken. So I kind of like the look. So that's the sprue for the Leclerc. Again, you get 3 of these. These guys are pretty pricey. Let's take a look at the card before we go on to the next model. And here's the card for the Leclerc. You can see it's kind of a beast. It's front armor 22, side armor 8, top armor 2. It's very fast with a tactical of 14, similar to those late war tanks. The 120 millimeter cannon gives you an anti-tank of 23, 2+ firepower, 48-inch range, pretty standard, advanced stabilizer and laser rangefinder, and then it's got a couple of machine guns on it. The morale the soft stats that you'll see across the French are similar to here. They've got a great skill, and which is usually 3+, and a courage of 3+, but they've got only a morale of 5+. Assault and counter tanks 4+, pretty standard stuff. But the morale 5+ is kind of a French thing. The French don't have the best morale, but they do have a better courage. Okay, let's take a look at the AMX-30 next. Okay, so the AMX-30 is made up of 2 sprues. You have the main hull here. Again, nice detail. See all those vents and whatnot. Track detail's nice. And then on the second sprue you have the turrets. Looks like track guards. The top of the turret. So again, this is a combo kit. You can go ahead and make the AMX-30 or the OFF-1, which is the artillery. The starter box suggests you build 3 of each, but there's no reason why you couldn't build more. You could do 6 AMX-30s or 6 artillery, whatever you wanted, which is nice. And I believe the other kit, the standalone kit, is the same way, so it's a good mix and match. As far as the cards go, I'll pull those over. The AMX-30 is basically a light tank, very simple, similar to maybe a Leopard 1 or along those lines. It's not got great armor, only front armor 11, so pretty much any kind of main battle tank is going to be punching right through it. But it's got a AT-19 105 millimeter gun with a 2-up firepower, so it's pretty deadly. Again, with the 3+ skill and a 3+ courage. When you have 3+ skill, things like blitzes become much more doable. You'll see that much more often with a 3+ skill army. Yeah. So I mean, it's not a bad tank at all. It's it's light. It's cheap. What else could you ask for? Now, the artillery, I've been on the receiving end of Sean's French artillery, and this thing is really nice. I mean, as far as stats go, I mean, it's lightly armored. It's just a thin box holding a gun on top of a tank. It's the same body as the AMX-30, but the turret obviously is different. It's carrying a 155 millimeter howitzer, but the nice thing about that is it's got auto loader. And I think in Team Yankee, auto loader is, I want to say maybe not relatively new, but not too many units have it, and those units that have it are amazing. I can think of for the Warsaw Pact, you have the Dana with autoloader, which is amazing. Then you have this guy. I think the Finnish, no, maybe the Swedish have artillery that has autoloader. Basically, though, autoloader, I'll read you the rule. When firing an artillery bombardment, reduce the score to hit by 1. So normally with artillery, if you don't know, first you try to range in, and you get 3 attempts. If you range in on the first attempt, anything under the template is just hit on their normal hit-on score. So if you're hitting French, you're hitting them on 4s under the template. But with autoloader, it makes it 1 easy, so you're hitting them on 3s instead of 4s, which is really nice. Or if you're going up against standard Warsaw Pact or Soviet forces, for the most part, those guys are hit on 3, which means if you get your first range-in attempt, this guy's hitting everything under the template on a 2+, which is pretty awesome. That also mitigates sometimes if you lose one and you're only down to 2 artillery units firing. Normally you have to re-roll your misses. A re-rollable 2+ is not bad. You're still going to hit the majority of things under there with a re-rollable 2+. But anyway, it's a really nice artillery unit. Personally, I suggest you build at least 3 of these in your initial force. Yeah, don't skimp on these. With autoloader, I think it is an awesome unit. It also has smoke. It does have a machine gun, but all of that's just supporting the main gun. So cool stuff. All right, next up, let's take a look at, this is the Observer, the AMX-10P, and the model, again, has some detail. I didn't look at these at the other, but this one's a 2018 kit. Side panel detail. It's got some side skirts. It's got, looks like a tow or some kind of missile launcher, machine gun. Some good stuff. I think this is also one of the French APCs, this same kit, if I remember correctly. But anyway, so in this box, it's an Observer, which will make your artillery just that much better. It helps, improve range in by 1, which can be huge. Then, last but not least in the box, we have the Gazelle helicopter. One of my favorite helicopters. It's tiny. I mean, this thing is, you put this next to an Apache or a Hind, it's just like a baby helicopter, but it's, I've always liked them. I always thought they were cool ever since I saw the movie Blue Thunder. It's so small, everything fits on one frame, even the propeller or the rotor. Yeah, and the French can actually take a surprising number of these. I think you could take up to 12, 3 units of 4. Now, you can take these a couple of different ways. You can take them as gunslingers, or you can take them as hot equipped helicopters, which have the anti-tank missiles. Now, the gunslinger is kind of cool, and I think only the French have it, correct me if I'm wrong. But basically, so it carries 20 millimeter cannons, and it lets the helicopter fire before AA. So the idea is you bring in your gunslingers to take out the enemy AA, and then you bring in your hot equipped helicopters to take out the enemy tanks. And again, you can take 4 of those. In fact, I bought the starter box, but I also bought a separate box of 2 more Gazelles, so at least I've got 4 to start with. And for those children of the 80s, the Gazelle was used as the body of Blue Thunder, which is one of my favorite fictional helicopters. So yeah, very cool. All right. This is the Gazelle card. You can see it looks like it just comes with the Gunslinger version. It doesn't have a card for the other version, which is okay, since that's the one I want to build first. Anyway, it's got a 5-up aircraft save, which is pretty typical for most helicopters. So even though it's tiny, it's it's just as survivable as almost every other helicopter. It's got 20mm gun, which means it gets 3 shots halted with a anti-tank of 6 or firepower 5+, or when it's moving, the range is decreased dramatically. You only get 2 shots, anti-tank 6, 5+ firepower. So, not bad. Not bad at all. All right, guys, so that's a quick look at the plastic. I'm going to go ahead and build some of the models and maybe come back and show you what those look like, kind of share that experience with you. All right, we've built a Leclerc. Assembly was pretty straightforward. One of the things with building these tanks over the years, Flames of War and Team Yankee, that have always caused me a little headache has been the side skirts, putting the side skirts on. Sometimes the connection points aren't the best, or it isn't the most intuitive. However, with this model, it was pretty straightforward. Real easy to put it together. No problems there. I will say that the Start Here guide, this thing has assembly instructions, but there is more detailed assembly instructions if you need them in the on the website, on the Team Yankee website. So I did the hatch open so I could put a crewman in there. I like all my command tanks to have a crewman popping out. That's how I tell the difference. So I figured this would be that. But I mean, it's a sexy looking tank. It's a really nice looking tank. And again, you get 3 of those in the box. Now the AMX-30, I am happy to report you have enough parts to build both. So you don't have to decide or make a sacrifice. Well, I'm going to build 3 AMX and 3 of the artillery. You could just have the turrets, so you could run 6 of these if you wanted. And this is the AMX-30 with the pretty cool turret. The assembly of this, the hull was very simple. The side skirts, not as simple as the Leclerc, but still went on with relatively little pain. It does have this cool handrail that is separate, which I really like. It really looks good. I thought the machine gun, or whatever this is a little low detail. But otherwise, yeah, nice looking tank. Or then you can build it with the same exact hull, but you've got the, what is it, the AUF-1, AUF-1 turret on there. And it looks pretty good. And like I said, autoloader for the win, so at least have 3 of those in your list. And again, this comes with 6 of these that you could build either way, which is really nice. All right, guys, so that's a look at least a couple of the models. I'm probably going to hold off on building more of these until a little bit later, till I figure out exactly what way I want to go with this, if I just want to keep a starter force or if I want to expand it all. But as I decide that, I will let you guys know. But let's talk final conclusion, shall we? Is the French starter box is it worth it? Well, if you're interested in NATO and you've already got one of the larger nations like the UK or America or West Germany, maybe not. I mean, a lot of these things are going to be similar but not identical. But the French do have a different play style with a weaker morale, a better skill than, say, the Americans. It makes for an interesting play style. The other nice thing about the French stuff is they don't tend to use American or West German equipment, so you're building something that's unique. My Norwegians, for example, have lots of West German Leopard tanks. So doing a French force, you get like all unique French vehicles, which is very nice. and very cool. Like when you build with the Soviets, everybody's got T-72s or T-64s or whatever, but the French have their own thing, which is really nice. So I'd say give it a check. Look it out, look it up, see if there's anything you like about it. And if so, go for it. The models themselves look great. They're easy to assemble. Particularly this starter force is a pretty good deal with what you get. I will say, though, that the current meta, and I don't know when you're watching this, but when this releases, the current meta, I don't think really favors these super heavy tanks. As much as I love the Leclerc, the M1A1 HC, they're just so expensive for their points on the table that it's really hard for them to make it back or even survive on the battlefield. But that's not here nor there. If you like these tanks, that's why you play the game, and you're going to enjoy the tank. So there you go, guys. I hope you enjoyed this look at the French starter box for Team Yankee. Again, there will be some unit overviews coming for these vehicles as well in the near future. Thanks again for watching, and keep on gaming.